when I was growing up. My dad never put bars on the window.
And as we saw when the movie started, because there was the nice pan over the neighborhood, very symmetrical, very quaint neighborhood.
Very cookie cutter.
Very cookie cutter. That's kind of what I was looking for more than quaint, but I think they all still apply. Mm-hmm. And I don't, maybe, does England have homeowners associations?
I think they'd have to.
Yeah.
Well, if they do, the Dursleys definitely live in a neighborhood that has an HOA. No way bars on windows are getting approved there.
No.
No way. That is getting shot down and tore down as soon as the next meeting is. And I'm pretty sure Vernon and especially Petunia are the type of people who are like, no. Like, we're the fucking treasurer and secretary of the HOA, so we are not doing anything that would risk that.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. Petunia, with how nosy her ass is, I cannot imagine allowing bars to go up on her windows outside so the neighbors could see.
And there was a whole deal of it. I mean, Vern was up on a 15-foot ladder out in broad daylight. There's no way one neighbor didn't come out there going, hey.
What are you doing there, buddy?
Hey, Vern, what's going on?
Everything cool?
Yeah, you putting bars on your window?
You gonna paint those, or
is this you putting an extension up there? Is this some kind of weird thing I haven't heard about yet? Yeah, there's no way. There's no way that would happen.
Yeah, an HOA, you'd think another person would be like, do we all have to have those? What gives?
Yeah. And nobody heard the car flying away from this building. I don't know.
And not just the car. The bars being ripped off the house.
Right.
The car constantly running. At what time of night is all this taking place? Because even in the dead of night, even in a nice neighborhood, there's got to be one or two people that are, third shifters and it's their day off or something.
And another note about all of those cookie cutter houses, they're all like built onto the next house. Like you see in San Francisco. So this wouldn't have just been loud at their house. And it's not like they have a big yard surrounding them. They're like in a condo situation.
You're like in your neighbor's backyard.
Right. So their neighbors definitely would have heard this.
Yeah. So.
Which I guess for a movie audience, maybe it makes a little bit more sense to have all of Harry's stuff by the window, because then it just makes it that much more obvious that someone should have heard them if they're idling there for 10, 15 minutes while Fred and George are roaming around in the Dursley household, picking locks and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's one of those movie things. They got to cut stuff for time. It's unfortunate because I think those are really kind of important character development moments. Like, the Weasleys are troublemakers, but this shows that they do have intelligence too.
Yeah,
like
they're clever.
They're not just classroom clowns, they're smart. And so I think that was an unfortunate thing that got cut.
Speaking of something else that got cut, once Harry gets over to the Weasleys' house, they get punished for stealing the car.
Not Harry, though.
Not Harry, though.
Just the Weasley boys.
Well, yeah, she gives Harry the option. She's like, oh, you can just go and rest. He's like, no, I'm here with my friends. A punishment is still better than not being punished, which he was, over at the Dursleys' house anyway. But we never get to see the denoming.
They cut a lot of the Weasley's house. Like, they show up, they get their letters, and Mrs. Weasley's like, all right, Diagon Alley, let's go. Yeah,
you got your lists, let's fucking go. But how funny would it have been to watch them hucking gnomes out of a garden?
Oh, I would have loved it.
Especially with, like, Fred and George doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it was more of, like, a PETA thing, where they're like, we're just not going to show this. Someone is going to take this and run and try to get headlines off of it. We're just cut the denoming.
We don't know how to develop them in a way to make them not look like animals.
Speaking of, actually, you have a really good point there, because with the mandrakes, it never shows what happens to the mandrakes. It tells you they make the mandrakes, or they pull them out of the pots when they're little, and then in the book it kind of shows the progression, but in the movie it's like you see them pull them out of the pot. And the next time they're mentioned, they're like, oh yeah, they've been juiced.
No, in the movie, it says they will be chopped up soon.
And stewed.
And stewed.
Chopped and stewed.
Chopped and stewed. In the book, I believe they just talk about mandrake juice or juicing them, and they leave that open. But in the movie, they explicitly say
So much
chopping.
worse.
Yeah, they are chopping them up.
After they lose their acne.
After they lose their acne, they'll be ready to get chopped.
I always specifically, though, wanted to see Ron's room and, like, the rest of the burrow, so I was always a little bit disappointed that we never got to see farther into that house.
That was a pretty magical moment. That was cliche, but that was a magical moment for me. I remember reading about how awesome the Weasley house read, sounded, whatever. So only getting to see like the kitchen / dining room area and then the fireplace, which there wasn't really anything magical going on there. Would have liked to have spent some more time there. I know we do later because there's more happenings at the Weasley house, but the first time being there, it feels like it should have been more of like a pan around, give a tour, shenanigans happening everywhere around each corner, and it was fine, but would have liked to have seen more.
It was like a country kitchen. There was like one pan that was scrubbing itself, and that was it.
There was a lot of kitschy shit all over the kitchen, though, and the house. Did you notice all of it? Little decorations just like everywhere.
Yeah, it was pretty full.
Very full.
Very, very much like farm style.
Yeah.
Like, there is no wasted space because there's a lot of shit you need to keep because you never know when you're going to need it, and you're going to need it. So find a spot on the cupboard.
Right.
On a shelf.
I just always remember that scene in the book where Harry gets up to Ron's room and it's like bright orange and Ron's super nervous and he's like, I know it's not much, but it's home. And Harry's like, I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is the coolest fucking room I've ever been in.
And that would have been a nice moment for Harry, too.
Yeah.
Just kind of, really further establishing that, like, he's not in a great situation with the Dursleys, because we weren't at the Dursley household very long in this movie. And to be able to see what a wizarding house looks like, and for Harry to just get that realization of, oh, this is what I could have had. This is what I've been missing. This is home.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's a wizard home, which would be strange and unusual, but at the same time, this is what a normal family is kind of like.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if even in the wizarding world you can say the Weasleys
maybe
are
not
normal.
normal.
Yeah. I think growing up with James and Lily alive, I don't think Harry would have had quite an experience like that. I mean, they were living in like the suburb, weren't they?
Yeah. They wouldn't have been quite as chaotic, probably. But, I mean, not that we know a lot about him now, but James Potter has a reputation, so you never know.
You know, the one part of the Weasley's house that I really, really would have liked to check out, though?
What part's that, Nate?
The fridge. 2 reasons. 1, I mean, obviously beer.
Yeah.
I want to know what Arthur's drinking, but 2, Molly has to have something good in there, right? Like, has to.
Right. Well, I mean, we discussed that, especially this year, after those kids go to school, she's done for the whole fucking year.
Nothing else to do.
And, I mean, before they leave, she's dealing with all of them. So she's definitely having a nightcap at the end of the night.
In the books, I believe at some point she makes up just straight up bacon sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that fridge is probably just full of half-eaten leftovers of some of the most delicious food you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
And it would go great with beer.
Were you guys ready to have one?
Yeah.
No.
All right. No.
I'm just kidding.
Get out.
I pulled the fast one.
We're done here.
That was a magic trick. I fooled you guys.
Well, thanks for coming, Aaron. Bye. All right. Well, tonight we are drinking Sensual Bean batch number 9. I know we've had Sensual Bean on the show before, but that was 8, obviously, from last year. Pike 51 in Hudsonville, right near our house, makes this every year, and it is one of my favorite beers, hands down.
I'd second that. I have a lot of favorite beers, but this is like a top 5 favorite beer.
It's really, really good.
Or at least number 8. I haven't tried number 9 yet.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who
I was gonna
knows?
say, the first time that we hung out,
you
had an 8.
This is an Imperial Milk Stout aged in oak barrels. It's not even, I mean, it may be a bourbon, but it's oak barrel.
Oh.
Little oaky flavor.
Yeah. It's medium roast Arabic coffee, Heaven Hill barrel. I'm not sure what that is. But then they use Madagascar vanilla beans and organic cocoa from Peru.
This doesn't seem very cost efficient.
No. No, not at all. But the flavors they're using are fucking awesome.
How much did you pay for that bottle?
Just a real easy 1,200
Yen?
pennies.
1,200 rupees?
Yes, rupees. But with that, we haven't tried it yet, so we're all going to try it at the same time. Cheers, guys.
That was fucking flawless.
That's perfect.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can
Like
really,
that.
you can really taste the Madagascar in there.
Yeah. I was just thinking the same thing.
Just the first thing that hits your tongue is
Very oaky.
All those lemurs?
it's oaky dokie.
This is kind of
All right,
related.
I'm out.
Because, wait, there were lemurs in the movie, and lemurs live on Madagascar.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now,
full circle.
I just watched the movie. Where were lemurs?
In that really fucked up transfiguration scene where they had all the exotic animals that they were changing,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
There was an armadillo.
there was a Dillo.
There was I'm sorry. They're just Dillos now. Jade is very familiar with her brand new favorite animal.
I don't understand how she wasn't touching the Dillo. It was just sitting there in a ball.
Do you usually touch your Dillo?
I would be. Yeah,
Yeah, Jade would be.
I would be.
All right, well, Jade plays with her Dillo. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this. All right. Both of you.
I did not mean to do that. I didn't know you were starting.
Okay.
That was an accident. Jade's, I think, was on purpose.
All right, we are back. And Aaron is still here, but he's not allowed to talk because he didn't want to take the beer break.
That's correct. Shit.
Well, I mean, you did now, so next break. We'll do it next break.
Okay.
And actually, just before we came back, we were talking about the fireplace and the big green fire and Harry's face when Ron uses the flu powder for the first time because he was scared out of his mind that he just watched his friend burn to death.
Because nobody gave him any explanation before.
They left him totally unprepared.
They said, here's flu powder. You take it. You say where you're going. You throw it on the ground. There was no warning of, then there's a burst of giant green flame. And go ahead.
You could stare into the underworld for a real hot second, apparently.
Well, in the thing they don't show, a book movie difference, in the book they describe what happens after you use flu powder on the way. In the movie, you just appear there. It seems relatively painless. And I know we covered that a lot in the book chapter, but still, a little bit of a warning would have been nice if I was in Harry's shoes.
I'm super glad they didn't show that. The motion sickness in me would have hated every part of that. Nope.
And Universal is good at that shit too, because we were on the rides.
Is there a flu powder ride?
No, but there is the Gringotts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The escape from Gringotts. And
the shaft, or the mine shaft, or whatever, yeah.
That's a fucking ride.
And the Hogwarts ride.
Yeah, that one's really cool too. And you're flying all over the place.
It's a lot. Though.
Jade's like, it's a cool ride, but she's not a big fan of the 3D rides. They make her a little queasy.
That's fair. Because your eyes are seeing one thing and your body's feeling another.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You can just shut your eyes on them rides and you'll be fine. Much like I imagine Harry probably does during this, because I would have hurled everywhere.
And he clearly, he does not make it to diagonally.
Yeah. How about that fucking landing?
Yeah, the way he slid in there.
That had to have fucking hurt, right?
Oh, he's got burns.
And he broke his glasses. And you pointed out that you've seen the version that is longer
Yeah, I